Call to order the Gateway Board of School Directors regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, Bonnie?
Yes. Mr. Bova.
Here.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mr. Gottman.
Here.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Here.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Here.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mrs. Warning.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Present.
We'd like to start with our student representative report, and we thank you, Bella, for joining us. Bella Junta.
Good evening, Bella.
Sorry?
Good evening.
Oh, good evening. Thank you for welcoming me back. Sadly, I couldn't be here the last time. I just got my wisdom teeth out and I couldn't talk. And that's a problem with me if you know me at all. But at the last board meeting, my very reliable Vice President Zoe able to discuss the prom fashion show and all of the upcoming events that were happening now, and they're no longer upcoming, they're happening now. Right now, our senior class officers are working tirelessly to get together our senior dinner dance, which is occurring on Friday at the DoubleTree from 6 to 10. We are working on superlatives and slideshows, table settings, all of that right now to make it a successful final dance for all of us. We also recently had a senior carnival where we had 4 teams of seniors compete with tug of war, relay races, dodgeball, and we had a winner. It was cute. And there was a bunch of different fundraisers, senior class council sold Chick-fil-A sandwiches to raise money for the stuff for the dance and things like that. And also tomorrow, the last day for our seniors, we also have our annual scholarship night for the seniors where different charitable groups and community people come in and offer scholarships to seniors. So it's very exciting for all of us that are graduating soon. And now, besides my monumental graduation speech, which you all will be at, this is probably the last time that I'm given the opportunity to address all of you. And I'd like to extend my gratitude towards all of you on behalf of the entire senior class that are leaving soon next week. I personally have been at Gateway for all of my educational career. Same with my older brother who just graduated from college. We have both been at Gateway our entire lives. And I'm so proud to be able to say that. I've always taken pride in being from Gateway and going to Gateway. I've always I'm so happy to tell people that I'm from here. And also being the senior class president, representing the class is something I take a lot of pride in. It's because of all of you that the students at Gateway can form an identity that they can be proud of and that they can carry on for the rest of their lives. And environment where we can find ourselves and meet different people that have different backgrounds and cultures. So thank you for that, and for all the behind-the-scenes motives that the students maybe don't notice or know exactly what goes on all the time, and for handling the brightest of spotlights that you guys have to handle during our times of need. So the Gateway School District is such an amazing environment, thanks to all of you. So on behalf of the entire senior class, and definitely from me, thank you for all your efforts.
Oh, thanks, Bella. Thank you. We can't wait to hear your speech.
Oh gosh, see you guys.
No pressure.
Thank you.
How do you feel? Anxious? Nervous? It's coming to an end? What are the emotions right now?
I'm really excited.
Go up to the mic.
Okay.
Get out the door.
Just ready to go, John.
I'm anxious for my speech because there's just a lot of people. I get nervous speaking in front of you guys. There's gonna be a lot more people there. But I'm really excited. I gave a nice dedication to one of our retiring teachers. I'm really excited to say, and I'm ready for it to be over. I think so. One more final tomorrow, and then I'm done.
Great.
Well, thank you.
And you're going to Duquesne?
Duquesne, yes. I'm studying social studies on a pre-law track. I'm very excited.
Great. Thanks, Bella.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did anybody sign up to speak on agenda items?
No one has, no.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on agenda items? Seeing none. Let's move to Section A, minutes of previously held meetings.
John makes a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by, well, is there any discussion on the minutes? John, you usually sometimes have questions on
I read
minutes.
them all. They're perfect.
All right, John says they're perfect. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Section B, financial reports. Mr. Schott's not here.
Get him on the phone.
Dr. Rossi, are you set?
Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves Section B1, list of bills, B2, monthly financial statements, B3, budget transfers as listed in Section B.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion on the financial reports? Even though Mr. Schott is not present. Seeing none, roll call.
Mrs. Cerucci?
Aye.
Mr. Gottman?
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein?
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich?
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning? Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Section C items table, we don't have any.
We do have a point of motion here, Mr. Dyson. Looking at items previously tabled from the May 14th study session, I believe we had the athletic department purchase.
That item was carried to be put on as an action item. It's item number 17 in Section F.
Action item tonight.
where
Yes, it's placed on,
in there,
it's item number 17 in Section F on page 7 of 8.
Okay.
Section F.
Okay, move on to Section D, personnel agenda, Mrs. Crum.
Thank you, Ms. Cerucci. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors accepts and approves the personnel agenda items 1 through 9 as listed in Section D for the regular board meeting of Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. Under resignations, we have 4 listed. We are recognizing 2 of our retirees, Joanna Garone and Cheryl Arendis. Both have had over 20 years of service with the district. And we would also like to extend our congratulations to all of our retirees this year and to thank them for their service. Under leave of absence, we have 5 listed. There is 1 that was added since the last study session. Section 3, transfers. There are 2 under the collective bargaining agreements. 4 for employment. We have department head, a substitute custodian, and also we've added musical compensation. These were payments for the musical. Under Section 5 for extended school year, we have 18 teachers listed, 46 teacher aides, 9 early literacy. Under supplemental contracts, we have 1 resignation and 2 issuance. Volunteers, we have 6. And then we also have the addition of number 9, the approval of employment contract for our business manager. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors ratifies and approves the negotiated terms and conditions of employment for Mr. Paul Schott to perform the duties of business manager as described in the board's job description for a term effective July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2024, subject to the terms and conditions of the contract of employment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any questions on Section D? Okay, that's easy. Seeing none, whenever you're ready, Bonnie, roll call.
Mr. Gottman?
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein?
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich?
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Section E, we don't have any, so we'll move to Section F, administrative resolutions.
Dr. Rossi? Nope. Splendid.
The first part. It's resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves and authorizes final approval of the AP Government textbook that has been on public display since April 16th, 2019. Also, the in-school nursing services contract for Bayada Pediatrics, as depicted in Exhibit A.
Item number 3 is policies. We have 30-day public display of 17 policies as listed. The financial report, item number 4, renewal of waterfront learning, district cyber school for the AIU number 3, the 1920 fiscal year. Item number 5, Allegheny Intermediate Unit number 3, educational services agreement for the 1920 fiscal year as well. Item number 6, approval of the service agreement with CTI Water Treatment Solutions for heating and cooling water treatment services for the 2019-20 fiscal year. Item number 7, appointment of a school dentist for 1920 fiscal year. Item number 8, approval of the appointment of Paul Schott as school board treasurer for next school year. Item number 9, acceptance of the district donations received. We would like to thank BNY Mellon, Bruce E. Dice Associates, and the Monroeville Foundation for their donations. Item number 10, approval of the depository of district funds for next year. Item number 11, approval of investment of the district funds with financial institutions as listed. Item number 12, approval of the Forbes Road Career and Technology Center, budgets for the 1920 fiscal year as listed. Item number 13, approval of renewals and premium payments for district insurance coverage policies as listed. 14, final approval of Title I, II, III, and IV federal funds, final allocations as listed. Item number 15, award of the milk bid cafeteria fund as listed, Exhibit F. Item number 16, award of bid of capital reserve fund, GHS partial roof recovery project as listed. Item number 17, approve the district's purchase and payment for the following department items during the 18-19 fiscal year as listed from G&G Fitness. And I believe that number is updated at $72,207.33. Item number 18, approval of agreement for professional services during the 1920 fiscal year as listed. Item number 19, approval of purchase and payments for various department items during the 18-19 fiscal year as listed below. Item number 20 and 21 are added after the study session. Item number 20 is the AIU PA Educator.net Contract of Services Agreement, Exhibit I, and the Monster.com Agreement.
So
Exhibit
moved.
J.
Okay, I have a motion to approve Section F. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there a discussion?
That'd be Bauer.
Valerie?
Okay.
Questions, comments? Open for discussion.
Yeah, obviously, item number 17 is something we've been discussing for a little while. It's the G&G Fitness contract to upgrade the weight room, replacing equipment. I think all of us have in front of us now 2 different bids from G&G. One is
The entire floor.
the entire floor, and they did take out the logos and things that we asked them to do. And we also asked them for another quote where we did partial flooring, replacement to roll your eyes, but I'm just trying to save the taxpayer money. I apologize. Unfortunately, just looking at the 2 contracts or 2 bids, the product and the partial flooring is now a completely different product. There's a $5,000 charge for moving the equipment, which there's no explanation of why that would be the same if we're doing the full floor versus a partial floor. Again, this is something that the sales rep suggested we use the kids for and would take 45 minutes. And now it's going to take 3 days for 2 crews at 9 hours a day for a total of $5,000. And there's no real explanation of what they're doing other than they're going to be moving some equipment from the weight room to the fitness center. But speaking with Mr. Brown, we don't even know.
Won't be all of it.
We don't even know what we want moved. So I don't know how they can give us an accurate bid when we don't even know what we're doing. So I think this whole thing is kind of a mess. There's a ton of questions I have that I think I have. I just don't think it's proper for us to move forward on this until we get some answers. Having said that, if we decide to move forward, looking at the 2 bids, it's a difference of $20,000 to go from doing the entire floor to doing, pretty well over a third of the floor with the 1-inch, weight drop resistant flooring. So, which in my opinion would reduce the amount of labor as far as moving the equipment back and forth and things like that to do the flooring. So you don't have to remove everything and do an entire floor.
So Rick, could we ask Mr. Brown to give us some insight onto what's required to tear down, disassemble, keep together and coordinate and package the movement of all the weights from that room?
Well, if you look at it, I can't add, it does give an estimate of hours and man hours and
$5,000,
estimate days. It says 3 days,
If
2
you don't know,
crews,
that's
8 to 9
okay.
hours per day. Mr. Ritter. Mr. Ritter, it does say 3 days, 2 crews, 8 to 9 hours per day.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of description on how they got the number.
And I mentioned that, but how do they know it's going to take 2 crews that long? We haven't even told them what we're moving yet.
And really can't give you an honest opinion on
that's
breaking
fine.
down, weight equipment and moving that. That's a specialized task. So, but as Mr. McIntyre said, there's a big difference doing half versus all, in what you're moving. It's pretty vague.
So since we still have questions, might it be proper to keep this tabled?
It's
We
not
would have to
tabled. You would have to
retable-
make
we would
a
have to
motion to
retable.
table.
Okay.
Bob, first, Rick, you had mentioned the students moving it, so that's been discussed once or twice.
And Dr. Short just,
Right.
That's a no.
absolutely
So we
not.
wanted to get that out of
Absolutely opposed
Right, I
to
want to
that.
get that out of the way, because Rick,
Right.
you did
Yes.
mention that. We started with, this was going to be a free move because we were going to have students do it, so,
Well, that was a suggestion from G&G Fitness.
okay, right, so, but that's not a viable thing, so.
Right, that was never the intent of the district.
All right, so we understand there's going to be some cost to move the equipment.
Correct.
We don't know precisely what it is. We don't know how they came up with the nice round figure of 5,000, which is, maybe just lucky or something. But yeah, a little more detail about that would be useful. I agree.
Can I make a comment? I had received an email from Matt from C&G Fitness. They will be moving 5 power racks. Are they big, the power racks?
Those would be the racks
Like
with the
squat
wooden
racks.
base.
Squat racks, yeah,
They're large.
they're large
Okay.
and they're heavy.
They're going to be moved 5 of those. They're
Where?
going to need, pardon me?
Where are they moving them to?
Can I finish, please? They're going to be needed disassembled,
Not if they're doing a half a floor.
disassembled, placed, and reassembled to different locations, as well as moving 9 selected pieces to the fitness center, as it will take some time. And moving the actual weight room to the hallways could also require disassembly. Once
So
the
right
part-
there, they're talking about moving 5 squat racks into the fitness center,
That kids could do, in their.
which, yeah, he suggested kids could do, and my
We're
understanding
not doing
is-
kids. This is,
And I've clarified it every time I've said it. They suggested. Nobody here is saying the kids are gonna do it.
correct.
I'm saying that's something that makes me uncomfortable with this company to begin with, is that would actually be a suggestion from them,
Okay,
advising
from-
us to do that.
From what I have
I'm
understood.
asking Mr. Brown a question.
Okay,
Can you
sorry,
please give me
Mr.
3
McIntyre.
seconds?
Go right ahead.
Do you think there's room in the fitness center for 5 squat racks?
I don't
And which would
believe so.
involve free weights, which we don't currently really utilize in the fitness center, correct?
That is correct, and I don't believe we could put 5 units of that size in that room.
So who made this decision that that's where we're going to move? Was it G&G
That-
Fitness?
I would say it would be between G&G Fitness, Mr. Barlack,
Mr.
maybe
Rivesti.
Mr. Rivesti, Mr. Stevens.
Okay.
Do we have any staff capable, do you think, Mr. Brown, of doing this labor?
No.
That's the summer hours where the buildings are being cleaned. If we were to hold off until school starts, possibly.
Well, the problem with that is safety. Not so much of our people taking it apart, but we don't touch that equipment at all. We sub that out for safety reasons and liabilities. If they're put back together incorrectly, who's gonna oversee that? And we are not trained in that.
It's a good point.
Very good.
These nuts have to be torqued, they have to be Loctited,
There's quite a bit to that is not in any capacity that we've ever done.
It's not in your playbook.
and that's fine, thank you.
All right, and then I guess, as far as I'm concerned, we still have some questions about that $5,000 labor number. But the biggest question, I think, to the board is, are we gonna spend the extra $20,000 to do the entire floor versus saving $20,000 and doing partial floor?
Well, if we take it to a vote, you will have an answer.
I thought we could discuss it, but that's fine.
Is there any other comments or discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I am uncomfortable with the change in level in the weight room. I think it's an unnecessary risk. Rick, if you're asking my opinion based on my time in weight rooms, I think it's a bad idea, so that's pretty simple for me. Obviously, I'd like the difference in price to be less, but like all the things we do amortized over, you know, the lifetime of that floor, that's a, what's a floor, 15 years? We're gonna get 15 years, it's $1,000 a year
This was over 20.
to minimize the tripping risk. Yeah, that's. I do have one other quick question from Ms. Warning. Was there more of that email?
No.
No? When did you get that?
Today.
All right, so I guess one last quick question, Bob. If we would try to table this just now, what would the impact of that be on the work that you would do? Would that put a monkey in your wrench, or are we free to table this and try to bring it up again later? Or
Bob
what?
has nothing to do.
Mr. Ravesi.
No answer, that's okay.
Zero effect.
Mrs. Warning, can you answer that?
Talking to Mr. Ravesi today, it's going to be a crunch for it to be in there by August if we table it.
Have anything to add, Mr. Lapsich? Mr. Williams?
No, I have faith in the homework that they did, and I'm ready to vote on it.
All right, Mr. Gottman?
I mean, I do have a concern with coming up with the labor costs, you know, going from, and very concerning them suggesting that we utilize our students, which is a horrible idea, to all of a sudden now going from a 45-minute students doing it to, you know, 3 days, 2 crews. That's a lot of, you know, hours and time for workers to be doing it. And without a solid figure as how they came up with that, you know, I don't feel comfortable voting on something without a solid figure. And then I was just even looking, I may have missed one here, but even with the tiling, between half the floor and whole floor, it looks like on the half the floor, I'm not seeing it, but we're not even getting the Thor tile on half the floor.
Yeah, on the quote, it's a completely different model number.
So, again, even if we would vote and say go for half tile, we're not even getting the same materials as the whole floor. So I kind of want to know, like, why are we not getting, it's at the same cost per tile. You know, if we're doing half the floor, we should be still getting that floor tile. Instead, we're getting just the active Pro Tile Greyhound. So kind of curious as to what happened there.
Probably an effort to cut costs.
Chemical or something that you questioned in that meeting, the price?
It was the molding.
Not an issue.
Okay.
Wasn't it the molding around the trim?
That was part of it.
Is that still in there?
The rubber baseboard is still in there.
But you don't have time to do it.
If we had to do it, we would find the time and do that.
Does anybody have any discussion on any of the other items in this section other than 17? If not, I would make a motion to approve everything but 17, and then we can make a motion for 17.
Second.
Okay, so the motion is to approve all items except 17. Is there a second?
Second.
Who made the first motion?
You did.
You did.
I'm not allowed.
Why not?
We did one.
All right, John makes
You're
that
allowed.
motion,
Thank you.
Scott seconds it.
I was asking for it. Thank you. All right. When you're ready, Bonnie, we'll have a roll call on that.
Okay. Dr. Kalkstein?
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich?
Okay, what is this?
We're going to vote to approve everything other than the weight room right now.
You mean the labor and everything?
No, the other items, all the other
I'm
items,
sorry.
all the other items.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Cerrucci?
Aye.
Mr. Gottman?
Aye.
All right, now I would seek a motion to approve 17, purchase and payment of the G&G Fitness Room.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Scotty, second by Mrs. Warning. Any final discussion before we go to a vote?
Okay, so the discussion is, which of these two proposals are we voting to accept?
We're voting right now on the agenda is the one that's $72,000,
70 is the higher price one, which would be the entire floor.
which is the entire floor.
Which is the recommendation from Mr. Rovesti,
67,000 for Guy Larson
and which
collected.
includes the movement by the professionals. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Stewart, do you have any input on any of this?
My understanding is the entire floor was recommended by Mr. Ravesti from the athletic department and recommended.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And at this point in time, we've had the debate over it. I do understand the pros and cons of both, but in the end, you have to factor in the safety issue of a tripping hazard, which I do understand. So at this point in time, the recommendation would be for the full floor.
And Mr. Ravesti also said that when you amortize that 20,000 out over 10 or 20 years, it's a smaller price per year, like 1,000 or 2,000 a year increase over the next 10 or 20 years. And so for that small of an extra price per year, it does seem to make logical sense to him.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Mr. Lapsevich?
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre?
No.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
No.
Mrs. Cerrucci?
No.
Mr. Gottman?
No.
Dr. Kalkstein?
Aye.
Motion passes.
carries.
Okay, moving on. Section G, do we have any resolutions by board members? I don't think we do.
We have to vote the addendum item.
I have so many papers. Here it is. Section F, Administrative Report Addendum.
Yes.
Who do you want to read it? You want me to read it? All right, does everybody have Section F, Administrative Report Addendum in front of them?
Yes,
Says
ma'am.
approval of agreement for professional sports architecture services. Approve the agreement for professional sports architecture services with J.T. Sauer and Associates LLC in the maximum amount of $39,300 for the professional services associated with all required phases to install a new artificial turf athletic field at the Moss Side Middle School.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion by Scotty, second by Mrs. Warning. Open the floor up to discussion.
Maybe not getting the names and details.
Yeah.
I would hold
Sidebar.
on to this.
All right.
Just so the public is aware that we've been actively engaged in individuals coming to the district in hopes of perhaps sponsoring and purchasing artificial turf for our field. So we're on the cusp of perhaps making an announcement here very soon that would allocate funds for the purchase of an artificial turf field at one of our facilities here on campus. So in order to expedite this, based on the request of a potential individual, that we wanted to at least have an architect look at our fields to determine what would need finished, completed in terms of irrigation, water retention, drainage, etc. It's our understanding that this money would be potentially built into the project as far as reimbursement. So I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to see this money returned to the district.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Bonnie.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yes.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Cerrucci?
Aye.
Mr. Gottman?
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein?
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Are there any resolutions by board members not previously announced? All right, seeing none, are there any comments from residents on non-agenda items? All 40, 50 of you?
Richard?
None?
Nothing.
Seeing none, let's move on to reports. Would you like to go first, Dr. Short?
Sure. Very exciting time of the year. We have a number of activities end of the year assemblies taking place. Tomorrow night we have our awards ceremonies both at Gateway Middle School and Gateway High School. Everyone's welcome to attend. Also, next week, we have our graduation ceremony at the Walter Pete Anamorino Stadium. As always, we anticipate a full crowd, roughly 5,000 people packed, relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc., to see our proud graduates walk on the field and receive their diplomas. It's a wonderful festivity, and we look forward to having all of our board members present and everyone in the viewing audience as well. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Mrs. Bungart.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Cerrucci. I would like to take a moment and recognize some of our staff and students from the high school. On Saturday, May 11th, we had some students participate in the Special Olympics at the Baldwin High School. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the teachers that organized that: Kara Samsa, Brooke Ruby, Andrew Estock, and Megan Petruska. And the student athletes were Damar Alston, Daylin Alston, Jesus Burnell, Mercedes Adipati, Gagan Makar, Damanpreet Singh, Ray Monroe, Alyssa Fritz, Zoe Whitman, and Pauline White. These students participated in 13 events, earning 17 gold medals, 16 silver medals, and 5 bronze medals. So I'd like to congratulate all of them. And I would also like to wish everyone, students and staff, a safe and happy summer. Thank you.
Dr. Ross. Mrs. Crum, are we hiring?
We will be hiring in July, so you can see any postings on the website and on PA Educator. And we just want to thank all of our staff for such a great 2018-2019 school year, for all of their efforts and everything that they've done.
If I could just add one more item. We had the recent passing of a former board member, Mrs. Jan Rawson, who I believe spent 2 terms on the board. And just condolences from the Gateway School District. And thanking her for all of her work and dedication to our students over the years.
Mr. Ritter.
Sure, one quick report on the track team. We've got 3 kids going to states. That occurs, this upcoming weekend. Nana, Shelley, and Sarah. I'm not good with names, and so good luck to those kids. And that's all I have. Oh, there was an election held recently. Thanks to everybody for getting out there to vote. It was a terrible, cold, wintry day, but everybody came out and voted. Thank you, Rick. No, seriously, thank you for coming out and voting.
Thanks, John. Mrs. Warren.
Just a few things. On the donations, we had just received today a $200 check from Costco's towards the backpack program, and the coffee shop at the high school has donated $500, and instead of taking the money from the coffee shop itself, the students are actually going to be going out and purchasing the food and packing the backpacks themselves. So I just want to thank those 2 additional ones, and it's been a very well-going program, and we hope we can continue it next year. There's also been some talk about the food service and the payments that are still due with the student accounts. If anyone has issues with it, if you could contact Mr. Martin Lorenzo, I'm sure that he can work out some type of payment program for you guys. But at this point, if we would ignore all the unpaid balances, our total right now is over $3,000, what students owe back to the district, and that is coming from the district. So I know he would be more than happy to work with any families that might have issues with paying their unpaid balance. And just one other thing, Saturday is Monroeville Community Day up at the park, Monroeville Park. Exciting day for events and everything going on, so if you're not doing anything, stop up at the Monroeville Park. And I want to wish everyone a happy summer, safe summer, and don't get rusty on your academics. And with that, that's it.
Mr. Lepsovich.
Thank you. I want to congratulate the old board members that made it yesterday in the voting, and I want to congratulate Ms. Susan Delaney and Dr. Gallagher on your behalf. The last 3 years, I'm proud in the last 3 years of getting a superior superintendent and assistants, getting a few projects done which were overlooked for years. An example is the dehumidifier, which was like $600,000 at the sports complex that was deteriorating the walls and the beams in the pool area. And also, by getting glass block installed instead of bulletproof glass installed, which was a third of the price, but also was a deterrent to any intruder. The most important thing I'm proud of is with this, the new scoreboard. Even though I had a 7-2 vote, which everybody laughs at, but we were able to get a sponsor with my colleague Val Warning with her hard work, door knocking, that ended paying for the whole scoreboard. Last but not least, I had a plan for the next 4 years to better the school district and a few other items before I would say goodbye. But now I have to announce, it looks like I have to do it in the next 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lapsevich.
Just one thing, thank you, Ms. Rucci. I want to remind everyone, December 8th, Pitcairn's going to celebrate its 125th anniversary.
December 8th?
Yeah, December 8th. You heard me. No, I'm sorry. June 8th. I don't know why December 8th keeps sticking in my head about that. June 8th. Thank you, Dr. Short.
Sure.
June 8th. So there's going to be a parade starting at noon and then activities all day long. A lot of you folks in Monroeville don't realize Pitcairn's part of this school district, so you might want to come down and check it out. It's going to be entertaining for everybody. So that's it. Thanks. June 8th. Thank you.
Do you have any updates for us, Mr. Dice? Mr. McIntyre?
I'm flabbergasted. You know, when we're looking at this budget in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at some very hard decisions, some of which we just discussed earlier this evening, where it's going to affect, you know, potentially programming, supplies, teachers' salaries, teachers' livelihoods. We got to get better at making better decisions, and it's okay to say no when administration asks for something. I understand that, you know, certain things are recommended by members of administration. I think we have to recognize that that's essentially a wish list. That's what they want. That's what the best possible outcome could be for them. And I think it's our job as representatives of the taxpayers is to hold them accountable and to find a cheaper, more effective way if it's possible. You know, our revenue's not going up anytime soon without a tax increase, so we have to start making some, I think, better fiscal decisions, or we're going to start losing programming and losing classes, but we'll have a state-of-the-art weight room. So maybe we can teach those classes down there. In addition to that, I would like to thank Mr. Schott for negotiating the sponsorship for the scoreboard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Mr. Galtman?
Yes, really quick. One, I do know we had great weather for our Kennywood School picnic this past weekend, and I'm hoping it continues next week for graduation. And congratulate all the seniors who will be graduating next week. And all the hard work has paid off, and wish them the best of luck in their future, wherever it should take them. And I was hoping for new artwork, but we still have the old artwork, which is still fantastic, from our 6th graders and 5th graders. So if you still haven't had a chance to look at it, it's here. It's wonderful. And with that, that's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Williams?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay. I too would like to congratulate our newly elected school board members. Congratulations to you guys, and we look forward to working with you. Oh, thank you, John. Jesse?
Yeah, what about me?
John wants to know if you have anything to add in a board report.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Lapsevich, too, for your service, and we're going to get good use out of you for the next 7 months, so you're not going anywhere. With that, I seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Adjourn.